Hari Hari. So we left off with the birth of the 5 children of Jamadagni. The youngest of the 5 sons was Parashurama, who was very fond of serving his father by cutting firewood, and therefore he was called Parashurama, or Rama who carries an axe. Near Parashurama's ashram, where he lived with his brothers and his mother Renuka and his father Jamadagni, they lived near the country or the city of a king. This king, his name was Kartavirya Arjuna. This Kartavirya Arjuna, he's not the Arjuna of the Mahabharata, it's a different Arjuna. Kartavirya Arjuna was very, very powerful. He had 1,000 arms, 500 right arms, 500 left arms and hands. He was a very, very powerful, very, very strong Kshatriya king. But he was not like King Gadhi, who was a pious, saintly, noble Kshatriya warrior. Kartavirya Arjuna was a very wicked, arrogant, evil king, Kshatriya, but still very, very powerful. One day he decided to go with his ministers, his generals, his soldiers, his army, his family, to go for a sporting and for some fun, for swimming in a nearby river. So Kartavirya Arjuna, he went there with all his family members, and they were sporting and playing in this river. Kartavirya Arjuna, to show how strong he was, to show off, he got into the water up to his chest, where the water was up to his chest, and he put his arms, his 1,000 arms, into the water, into the flowing river. It was a river. And by doing so, he stopped the flow of this enormous river. And as he stopped the flow, the river was overflowing its banks, and he would not permit it to flow past him. So many, many miles upriver, the water was overflowing its banks. Very far upriver, there was another king, a very famous king. We all know about him. His name was Ravan. This is the same Ravan of Ramayana who stole Sita from Lord Ram. The same Ravan. He was upstream with his soldiers, his family, his generals, and so on, and they were having their fun in the river. And all of a sudden, the river starts to rise. And Ravan and all his men are wondering what's going on. Well, not men. Ravan is a Rakshasa. So all his Rakshasa soldiers and family were wondering what's going on, almost drowning because the water was rising. So Ravana, he got into his chariot and he sped downstream to see what was stopping the flow of the river. He came upon Kartavirya Arjuna and Kartavirya Arjuna's family and friends, all laughing at Kartavirya Arjuna and cheering Kartavirya Arjuna, applauding him for holding up the river as Kartavirya Arjuna was still standing there. Ravana became furious. He immediately attacked Kartavirya Arjuna with his bow and arrow, shooting and trying to kill Kartavirya Arjuna. Kartavirya Arjuna was not too impressed. He got out of the water and engaged Ravana into an enormous battle. Kartavirya easily defeated Ravan. Not only did he defeat Ravan, he broke Ravan's chariot, he broke Ravan's bow, completely destroyed all Ravan's weapons, and all the people, all the Rakshasas who were trying to protect Ravan. And Kartavirya Arjuna then caught Ravan and held him prisoner. That's how powerful Kartavirya Arjuna was. After humiliating Ravan for some time, he let him go. Just playfully, like he was playing with a little baby. He let Ravan go. Then Kartavirya Arjuna and his family, friends, soldiers, and generals, they were going to return back to their capital city. They came upon the ashram of Jamadagni and Renuka in the forest. The ashram was in the forest. Jamadagni welcomed Kartavirya Arjuna and all the soldiers. had them sit down, and he began to feed, because Kartavirya Arjuna is the king. So the Brahmin Jamadagni was thinking, I can have this opportunity to serve the king, the guests in my ashram. So he would go into his little hut, and he would come out with pots and buckets, really, of prasad, things to eat. And he would feed Kartavirya Arjuna's family, his soldiers. Kartavirya Arjuna had 10,000 sons. Jamadagni would feed all of them. And Jamadagni, as he was feeding all of these hundreds of thousands of people, Kartavirya Arjuna was wondering, where is he getting all of this food? So he asked Jamadagni, where is all this food coming from? I see you're going inside your little hut, you stay for a few minutes, and you come out with these buckets and huge pots of all kinds of wonderful, wonderful food. Where is this coming from? So Jamadagni Muni told him. He says, my dear king, Kartavirya Arjuna, I have a Kamadhenu cow. Now a Kamadhenu cow is it's a divine, celestial even, cow. Whatever the Brahmanas ask for, this Kamadhenu cow would provide for the Brahmins, for qualified Brahmins. So when Jamadagni would go inside his home, he would go to the cow around the back, and she would provide, Kamadhenu would provide everything Jamadagni asked for. Then Jamadagni would come out in the front, and he would feed Kartavirya Arjuna. Kartavirya Arjuna was a wicked, arrogant, deceitful king. Violent, not very merciful. Without saying another word, he went into Jamadagni's ashram, grabbed the Kamadhenu cow and the calf. Kamadhenu, she had a baby calf. Took the calf as well and dragged Kamadhenu and her calf back to his own city. There was nothing Jamadagni could do. Renuka, Jamadagni's wife, began crying, but there was nothing they could do because Kartavirya Arjuna was behaving in this manner. And it was Jamadagni's character to be peaceful and to show some forgiveness to what Kartavirya Arjuna was doing. But then the 5 sons come home with Parashurama, and they see their mother crying. Renuka's crying. Parashurama asks, what happened? And Jamadagni and Renuka, they tell Parashurama and their sons what had happened. Remember, Parashurama is the grandson of Satyavati. Satyavati drank the kheer that was meant for having Kshatriya children. Proper Kshatriyas, they are to protect their subordinates. Kshatriyas are to make sure the weak, the innocent, are not taken advantage of. And Kshatriyas will do anything to make sure the weak and innocent are protected. Jamadagni and Renuka were the innocent. Yet this wicked Kshatriya, Kartavirya Arjuna, stole from them, abused them. Parashuram, with his Kshatriya spirit, became enraged. And he took off to the capital city where Kartavirya Arjuna and his family lived. We'll finish there, continue later. Hari Hari.